Hello and welcome to Move the Line, presented by 4for4.com. Betting subscription at 4for4 is the only resource you need to be profitable this NFL season. If you're going to play fantasy, best ball, high stakes, or just bet on any sport or any market, 4for4.com is where you need to be this season. I am Ryan Noonan, here to finish off the divisional preview series and get our Super Bowl winner, Super Bowl teams, playoff teams, all that and more with Connor Allen. What's going on, my friend?
Yeah, not too much. It's good to wrap up our divisional previews. I feel pretty good about where we're at heading into the season at this point. And yeah, it's exciting times. I mean, football feels like it's here. Like we're 2 weeks out. And so, I mean, 2 weeks from tomorrow, I think it is the Thursday. So that'd be awesome. I mean, I'm so excited.
Yeah, no, it's here at this point. We're so if you missed anything, Move the Line wherever you listen to podcasts. You can get all the other divisional previews. You can go to YouTube if you like to watch us do this as well. 4for4 Live on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe there so you don't miss a show. You get all the other great live content from 4for4. We've been excited to share Sharp Stack, which is our new suite of betting tools. We've been doing lots of different lives every day, just kind of picking off some bets in the EV tool. Again, check that out if you have not done so. It is now behind the paywall, but technically still free for a 7-day trial. So it is no longer just free for you to click into. You will need to, sign up and start your 7-day trial. But again, if you have any questions there, let us know. We're really excited about it. Starting to do some more back-end testing and seeing how profitable it's been to even pick up a market like home runs. If you're just betting with a little bit of thought process in terms of, EV and growth. I know you've had a lot of success doing that. Been doing some WNBA stuff, which has been fun. I know our guy Pat Mayo has been picking off WNBA stuff, which has been great. Anything you want to tell the people about Sharp Stack or before we jump in here and wrap up the divisions?
Yeah, I think Andy hit like a 15-1 home run bet yesterday. It was like,
hell yeah.
Yeah, which is crazy. So I mean, we got results that we're backloading in here. So yeah, home run bets have been good. Strikeout bets too, we just added as well. You can look at the ROI, look at EV, average CLV, depending on when you bet it too. So like you could do like an hour to close, 8 hours, 4 hours before, the market starts. So you can really look at it a wide variety of ways. I think it's about as transparent as it gets. It's not just like a trust us, our algorithm knows what it's doing. It's like, here are all the results for everything. So you can find it for yourself.
Yeah, again, everything that Connor and I have done historically at 4for4 on the betting side in terms of, plays for subscribers have been us generating, right, and originating these bets, right? Like handicapping the defensive side of the ball and making bets, attacking, soft markets, unders that Connor just absolutely bamboozled last year. This is different. This is, kind of leveraging bookmaking books against slower moving domestic books and finding edges from a top-down standpoint. And really, really excited just as a supplemental bankroll builder for the other stuff that you like to bet. And you kind of get into a season, maybe you're just a football bettor and you want to find opportunities where you feel like you're still getting in good outside of the football window. When we get into, the winter, we get into the summer, early spring and whatnot, we're going to have every sport. We already have every sport in there. So really excited about that. Again, 4for4.com/plans. The betting subscription gets all the standard stuff that we've done historically. There's a Sharp Stack subscription there as well. So check that out. Again, make sure you subscribe to the show, Move the Line, and then the YouTube live stuff. We really appreciate that as well. So we are here to put a bow on the divisions with the NFC South. One of the more interesting divisions, some of the, some weaker teams, especially historically. This has kind of been the Bucks. Like we went from, the Brady Bucks into like the second version of that with like the Brady Tom Bulls version of the Bucks. And now we're kind of in this, Baker role, and Baker's just kind of, I don't know. He's a head coach maker at this point. They are the favorites to win the division. They have the 10th easiest schedule. All these teams have, the Bucks have the hardest at the 10th. Like all these have easy schedules, partially because they each get 2 games against each other. They are 35-1 to win the Super Bowl, 17-1 to win the NFC. You can get them plus 100 to win the division. Win total at 9.5. They are minus 154 to make the playoffs, plus 140 to miss it. This is a 8th offensive coordinator in 8 seasons for Baker Mayfield, which is just absolutely wild. Like you said, he's just making head coaches, right? Dave Canales, head coach, gets 1 year with Baker, gets a head coaching job in Carolina. Liam Cohen, 1 year with Baker, gets a head coaching job in Jacksonville. That is good news for Josh Grizzard. If he is looking to scale up next season, he's staying on though. So there's some continuity. He was part of the staff there with Liam Cohen last year. Connor will give you the floor. Talk to me about the Bucs.
Yeah, they're an interesting team for a lot of the reasons you mentioned. I mean, just like a rotating door at OC basically. And I think for Baker, there's a couple other factors too. Obviously, they drafted Emeka Egbuka way earlier than kind of what we thought. He was like viewed as a fringe first round guy. We got some kind of late steam thinking that he was going to be, I don't even know, like a mid-20s pick. I think that was that. And then he goes, I think it was 18th or 19th overall of the Bucs at that point. And so now it kind of makes more sense though, because you have Chris Godwin coming back from his injury who re-signed, and he's still not even jogging yet. I mean, the season's 2 weeks away. Like, I think he might miss at least 4 games, maybe 6 weeks. There's a chance he's not even right all season. So now you have Egbuka probably playing a massive role. Mike Evans, who's aging a little bit. And then Jalen McMillan already picked up an injury and is going to miss the first 9 weeks of the season. So you have, I mean, a kind of like a wide receiver core that looked really good initially on paper, like insanely good, maybe one of the best in the league. And now it's already kind of a little bit dinged up, and like that depth is kind of falling apart a little bit, especially if anything happens to Mike Evans. It would just be Egbuka out there. So, I think that's an important facet as well. They obviously suffered an offensive line injury as well, Tristan Wirfs, which I think, matters to some extent as well. And Bucky Irving's show, I was expecting to be in full force. I think still will be. I don't think they're going to use much Rashad White. I don't think they're going to use much Sean Tucker. But I would expect
Rashad White's dinged up too, right? So
yeah, Rashad White's dinged up. Like they've faced, I don't know if any teams honestly so far has faced as many preseason injuries as they have, or like maybe more injured than we thought heading into the year. Like they're in a really tough spot so far, especially offensively. I don't know. Like maybe they're just a team that I haven't really been on in years past. I've always thought they're interesting, but not good. And they've continuously proved me wrong. I think this might be the year that I'm right. Like I'm just not super into the Bucs this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think you undersold the Tristan Wirfs things. Like I think it really matters. And we're looking at like at least the first 4 games, it seems like. Right. This is a guy that like came in, was like the best right tackle in the league. And they move him to left tackle. He's like one of like the 3 or 4 best left tackles in the league. And look at the early season schedule a little bit, right? It's like we'll get into some of the stuff in terms of Atlanta here, but they open with Atlanta, who heavily invested in the edge. Finally, Houston, which might have the best edge duo in the league. The Jets, who have a lot of questions, but they actually have a fairly strong edge duo with Will McDonald and Jermaine Johnson coming back, and he's healthy. He's already looks like he'll be good to go for week 1. And Philly, who's just going to beat you along the defensive line. No matter where they're lining up. So it's a tough spot. It's a tough draw. Baker, part of his development, I think the last couple of years, it's been interesting to see as he's evolved, is his improvement in pocket awareness and taking sacks. He was just early stages and even early stages with the Bucs taking sacks at an insane rate. And that's been really one of the areas he's, improved pretty drastically. So that one's going to matter quite a bit. So maybe there's some early season opportunities there. As you said, like, I don't know that Mike Evans is like, he's getting older, but we haven't seen signs of slowing down per se. Like still got there the 1,000-yard mark last season, even though he missed a handful of games. Such a red zone beast there. You absolutely love Bucky Irving as a dog. So I think on our first draft pod, one of the things I said, I didn't know where he was going to go in the draft, but just watching a little bit of Emeka Egbuka, because I'm not a huge college guy. Got to give my family a little bit of time, and that ends up being Saturdays. But I just felt like that was a guy that was a no doubt solid pro. Like he was just going to be a guy that was a contributor for a decade plus, maybe not a wide receiver 1, but like everything in camp has been pretty great there too. The defense concerns, they're going to blitz a ton. That's Todd Bowles always. They also just kind of have to find ways to creatively generate pressure because they don't necessarily have a bunch of guys that win. They went out and took a chance on Hassan Reddick, which I think was a good splash that's worth taking. He's still just 30 years old. He's just a couple of years removed from being one of the best edge rushers in the league. Yaya Diaby is a guy that, like, if they had sack props for him, I would take the over. He massively outperformed his sack number last year. Was way better than what 4.5 sacks. Like he could probably get to 8 comfortably, just off of his repeating the performance. He's still a young guy too, so there's some upside there. There's some battles going on in the back end on some players that I like, but I still think it's probably best case scenario, a middle of the pack defense that maybe they can be good on like situationally, right? Like dialing up the blitz and getting home at the right time. Just not a bunch of winners defensively. So I'm kind of with you. Like it feels like a spot where someone can go out and take this from them, because there's just kind of a rolling downhill train of cluster injuries. And this is how things start. And that's where you really get into problems.
Yeah, I don't know if the Falcons or Panthers are necessarily better than the Bucks, like on paper, but like I think they're teams that could easily end up with more wins. And so that's, like, yeah. So I don't know. We can get into them in a little bit, but I think this Bucks team they're not like some dominant team that I expect to easily win this division. I think they're going to be in a lot of tough games, especially with these teams. It's interesting though; they're only underdogs in just 5 games right now. I mean, that's pretty healthy for a look ahead line perspective, but I'm just not sure how much I really buy that. I just think they might be worse than the market's projecting.
What's interesting, and we'll get to it at the end of the show, we kind of give some of our thoughts on, who's going to win divisions and stuff. Like the NFC is wide open comparatively. Like I think there's some more top heavy teams in the AFC, but there's also like some really strong divisions. So this just doesn't feel like a spot where we're getting 2 playoff teams, right? Like it could happen, but considering what we think of, I think the North in particular, we did the West last week. I think we both like a couple of teams in the West. You have both the Eagles and Commanders in the East. So it doesn't feel like this is a spot where we're getting multiple playoff teams. Like I think this would be, the long shot of the division for us to say, hey, line, which conference or which division gets 2 playoff teams. I think you'd make the South, the longest shot to get there. So the division part really matters a little bit more. All right. Falcons are next. 4th easiest schedule on the board, 80-1 to win the Super Bowl. They are 35-1 to win the NFC, plus 240 available to win the division. Win totals, you got to shop around depending on what your lean is. There's some 7.5s juiced over, some 8.5s juiced to the under, plus 155 to make the playoffs. So again, 240 to win the division, plus 155 to make the playoffs. Again, that's just a weird little, like, do you think that both them and Tampa, I guess, are going to the playoffs? I'd much rather take the divisional price. A lot of continuity on the offensive side of the ball. Michael Penix Jr. has the keys to the car now from the jump. Somehow this team went 8-9 last year. In my mind, it was way worse than that because I think of how poorly the Kirk Cousins experience was in the middle of the season here. Penix Jr. graded out very well in the final 3-game stretch. They did play the Commanders, the Giants, and the Panthers. So we're going to take that with a grain of salt. They did average 32 points per game in that stretch. The Week 18 game against the Panthers, again, massive. That's not even a grain of salt. It's a huge ball of salt. But PFF charted 7 big-time throws from Penix Jr. in the Week 18 game for the Panthers. And the Panthers had a chance, or the Panthers had a little bit of momentum. The Falcons actually still had a chance to make the playoffs in that stretch there, too. But there's been no other quarterback since 2020 that's had more big-time throws in a game. So this guy does have arm talent. Can he stay healthy? We had a series of 2018 in college, ACL. 2019 is right shoulder. 2020, the same ACL, second time. 2021, his throwing shoulder. So 4 straight years ended with season-ending injuries to shoulders and knees. It's not great, but some upside if he stays healthy.
Yeah, I think there's a chance that he's just like, I mean, he was comped to, like a way worse version of Stafford coming out like a little bit. I think there's just a chance he's like lefty Stafford in a sense.
Sure.
Poor man's lefty Stafford. But like they have plenty of talent on this team. Like there's, with Drake London, Ray McLeod is a fine slot receiver. Darnell Mooney, I think he's banged up right now. And like, that's a little bit uncertain, honestly. He's like week to week. We're 2 weeks out from the season. His status hasn't been like improved much, but Casey Washington apparently has been having a good camp behind him. And so I think that's kind of interesting. Kyle Pitts was talked about early. Since then, the reports haven't quite been as good. But then when you have, Tyler Algier and Bijan Robinson behind a reasonable offensive line, like I think that they could be pretty good offensively. Like if Penix takes that next step forward, like they could be a leap or a team that just takes like a massive leap offensively. And it kind of all made sense heading into it. Like you said, Kirk didn't play very well. They still finished 8-9. And then defensively, they added some edge help. They still have plenty of holes in their roster, but they should be better than last year, I would think. So like this is a team that I think could very easily win this division if Michael Penix takes a big step forward, which I think, again, is like we just don't have enough of a sample to say that he's like amazing or bad, but like he flashed enough that like if he puts it all together, I think he'd easily, take another step forward and this could be a really good team.
Yeah. And they didn't move off of Kurt. So like, while it wasn't great, we do have an injury prone, at least historically injury prone quarterback. At least, he can come in and kind of manage things. Again, you're not going to be super excited about, again, this is probably, again, it was an 8-9 football team with mostly Kirk at the helm. So like, you wouldn't be excited about them, but again, it's not someone there's significantly worse backup quarterback situation in the league is, I guess, what I'm trying to say. So yeah, I mean, yeah, there's upside. The offensive line is actually really good. I think it's worth noting that Caleb McGarry was carted off a practice field today as we record here on Wednesday. That's never good. It's really important, right tackle for them, especially that's the backside, your blind side of your left-handed quarterback. So we have to see what happens there, because I think that, is important. The continuity is really nice. New defensive coordinator, Jeff Albrecht, was obviously with the Jets last year. This team has ranked 32nd across the past 5, 10, and 20 seasons in total sacks. They have punted on one of the most important pieces of defensive assignments for the last 2 decades, basically, right? They had a little blimp in there, with Dan Quinn when they went to the Super Bowl, where they got a lot of pressure and had a couple of guys pop, but it's just something historically that they've just always taken a step back from. And you just can't compete with top tier teams, especially when we get into, the end of the season, or you find yourself in the playoffs. You have to be a problem. You have to have guys that can win. And last year they threw a bunch of day 2 picks to the problem. They got nothing out of it. They had injuries there as well. This season they added Leonard Floyd. Still got a little bit of juice left. Was in San Francisco last year. Was okay. And then 2 day 1 picks. First pick, Jalen Walker, who I think long-term could be really interesting. Played mostly linebacker at Georgia, is kind of a hybrid. I don't think they're going to get much out of him this year. Looks like they're going to give him the go, but in terms of what his role, and he's been basically an edge so far. They have not been playing him at multiple positions. So he's been edge only. But James Pierce Jr. is a dude I'm excited about. I love talking about this kid. All we need to know is that he's a rookie and he's taken over control of the radio in the locker room, which just tells you, and everyone's cool with it. He started 6 fights and none of the vets are mad. He just seems to be uber intense. I've seen a couple interviews and does this dude smile or laugh? He might, but I think he just kind of wants to destroy people. Big time traits here. Probably goes significantly earlier if he didn't have some off-field questions. Now he needs to be an answer, because how they went about going and drafting him was disastrous. They traded an unprotected 2026 first round pick to the Rams to trade back into the 26th pick to take Pierce. When you have an injury prone quarterback who's unproven, that Rams pick next year could be, or this Falcons pick for the Rams could be extremely valuable if things go sideways here in Atlanta. So Pierce kind of has to be a home run. I think he will be. It's going to be one of these bad process, good results situations, because it's still really poor team building. But if he's kind of a hit, last year their best pass rusher is their off-ball linebacker, Caden Ellis. That is just not it. So, interesting battles in the secondary. They could be fun. And again, the schedule's soft. So I'm interested in, I think Pierce at 19-1 is a great defensive rookie of the year bet. Shared that, months ago for subscribers. Still 19-1 on FanDuel. Take that. I think that's a fantastic value. Should be, closer to 10 or 12 or something like that. He's been a problem in camp.
I like that. That's a solid look. I think you tweeted about it the other day too. It's interesting too that the Falcons underdogs in 4 straight games prior to their bye, but it's against Tampa in week 1, Carolina at Carolina in week 3. So 2 pretty winnable games there. I think 2-2 out of the bye would be kind of a win. You have the other games at Minnesota, against Washington, 2 tough games there. But then you come out of the bye, Buffalo and San Fran. That's tough. But then again, the rest of the season's pretty soft. Favored in what looks like 7 of their next 11 games, after that. So they do have a solid stretch down the road. It's just that early season, they got to come out of there 500 heading into week 8. And I think that's they could just be a much better team than we think at that point, just because they played so much tougher competition. Yeah, they're fascinating. I think, like I said, the way to go about it, if you're interested, you could take the win total. I would take, the plus money on the 8.5 if you're into them, or the division pricing, and significantly better way to approach this than the playoff price.
considering, again, we don't think this is probably a 2 playoff team. So our division.
Listen to this stretch too. I'm looking at this. So you got Miami at New England, which is a little bit tough. Then you have Indy, Carolina, New Orleans, the Jets. I mean, that is you can't ask for like a better 5-game, 6-game stretch than that.
That's soft. Yeah. Like, I mean, and Morse, was I think, talent maximizer with the Rams. Like some of those Rams teams, like way exceeded what the talent was. So again, I think the talent is a little bit better this year. They drafted really well. Like, 2 guys in the secondary in the draft that they drafted day 2. Xavier Watts from Notre Dame, another Notre Dame safety that was awesome at football and tested poorly. That we've kind of seen that guy before. We know Kyle Hamilton was just another like absolute dog and then just ran really poorly. And now he's like 1 or 2 in terms of like best safeties in the league. I'm not saying Xavier Watts is there, but Xavier Watts is a really good football player. Billy Bowman in the slot, Oklahoma, like just kind of undersized, but like the tape was really good. Like some hardcore tape grinders will tell you that, he's just significantly better than that, a little undersized, but a willing run stopper. Like there's some of these guys all of a sudden kind of emerge. They kind of just hit in this draft. We've seen this historically. You just have a great draft and kind of flip the whole narrative around what your defense was or whatever the unit is. And this is really how they've gone after this draft. So could be an interesting team. I think they could be, again, with the schedule, there's opportunities here for them for sure. All right, Carolina, 7th easiest schedule. Again, this whole division, they're playing cupcake schedules. 150 to 1 to win the Super Bowl, though. 65 to 1 to win the NFC. They are plus 4.25 to win the division. Win total 6.5, juice to the over. They are plus 280 to make the playoffs, minus 320 to miss. Finish significantly different than the beginning. We had clusters on every level on the defensive side of the ball of injuries, like just inability to get off the field on 3rd down. They couldn't convert offensively in 3rd down. We had whispers of bust for Bryce Young, eventually gets benched. Just wasn't great. And he came back and had a little bit of juice, throwing the ball down the field a little bit more confidence, strong offensive line. They've invested 2 years in a row. Receiver in the 1st round. Not 2 guys I don't think you love per se, but at least they're trying, right? So thoughts on the Panthers?
Yeah, like I think their offense actually could be decent. Like, I mean, it depends a lot on thinking Ted McMillan and Bryce Young. Like if T-Mac, I think that's what he wants to be called, but I'm going to keep calling him Ted. I thought that was a little weird. His mom's just like, can't call him Ted. Well, why not? Because I said so. That's what the answer we got from Ted's mom. So anyways, I think like if he turns out to be an alpha, then they're in a really, really good spot. So far, the connection in preseason looks pretty awesome. Like he's burning corners out there. Andy Dalton underthrew him on like what would have been like a 50-yard touchdown. I think his arm got hit or something like that in the backfield. So like T-Mac's he's burning corners. He's doing well. And I think Leggett can be a perfect kind of Deebo Samuel comp. But then you have Coker, you have Thielen, you have Hunter Renfrow, kind of all operating underneath. Like it's a team that I think could be pretty reasonable. And Chuba Hubbard and Rico Dowdle is like, I would say one of the more underrated backfields in the league. Like they're not, going to turn any heads or do anything crazy, but yeah. Chuba played well last year and Rico Dowdle, I think, did as well. So both of those guys, I think, are interesting too. And like this offense, I think could be fine. Like I don't expect them to be good, but they should be like middle of the pack. I do, however, have some concerns on defense. And I think I'll let you go on that because I think there's a lot of holes there.
A lot of holes there. It can't be worse. They gave up 3,000 rushing yards last season.
Wow.
3,057. So think about how good you got to be to run for 2,000 yards as a runner, right? Like they gave up 3,000. Again, they had a ton of injuries. They got to the point in like last season where they had like linebackers 7 and 8 were like having to make, like starts. It was bad. Derek Brown, they lost after the first game. It was abysmal. The secondary is not great. JC Horn just has not really stayed healthy. When he plays, he's good. I think it's going to be better, but I still don't think it's good. They don't have real winners at edge, which is a problem. Like you can't play in the league nowadays and not have, a strong, at least one guy, like since he did with, Trey Hendrickson, or you have to have, a rotation of 3 guys that can be average or above average. They have kind of none. Like they've invested in like day 2 picks Nick Scoring could be interesting. We'll see, but none of these guys should be expected to be massive contributors. Secondary is not great either. So again, people like the coordinator here in Evero, but amazing to give up like 31.5 points per game, which is one of the highest mark in the past 20 years, and still keep your job. But you can make the case you just had so many injuries that it's not really fair. But I'm with you. There could be an over team, a sneaky over team, because I think I'm with you. Like, this offensive line's fantastic. I think they're going to be able to run the ball. I think, Rico Dowell's a nice signing for them. If Ted emerges, like you said, he kind of has to be an alpha. But this could be a sneaky over team because the defense just isn't up to stuff.
Yeah, I did also play some Adam Thielen under 525. I think it's 575 is what we got. I'm still seeing 525 available. He's old as shit. He's like 36. Yeah.
Cokeheads are uniting here. I think
Jalen Coker's playing awesome, and they're like kind of a 1-to-1 role, seems like, pretty much. And if you put Thielen on the outside, I mean, it's just over. There's no shot he's getting open there. And then Hunter Renfrow got a ton of steam early in camp. He's kind of banged up, but I think he has a chance to make the roster. Jimmy Horn Jr., I think it is. He also is like a great field stretcher at Colorado, and so I think he might have some kind of like sneaky role by the end of the season. So there's a lot of outs for Thielen, just basically probably be like a veteran locker room presence by the end of the year, more than like a guy who's actually contributing very often. So I think Thielen under is still interesting. I don't really know what to do with this team. Like you said, sneaky over team. I don't know if I really want to bet their team, their win total over anything, but I think their offense might be able to keep them in some games, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, probably a week to week thing. I don't know. I think that Tampa and Falcons are too good, or at least their upside path is just significantly higher. I just don't think that the upside path for the Panthers is win the division upside, right? I just don't think even having the defense stay healthy, outperform expectations, one of these edge rushers or two edge rushers emerge. I still think that they're probably maybe at that point an 8-win, maybe a 9-win football team. And we're talking about top 10 percentile outcomes for sure. I just don't see it.
It's tough.
All right, the Saints. Speaking of tough situations, third easiest schedule in the league. They are 400-1 to win the Super Bowl, 160 to win the NFC, 16-1 to win the division. Their win total juiced to the over at 4.5. They are the favorites to have the worst record in the league, plus 375 on Caesars, if that's your thing. We have a quarterback battle here for Kellen Moore. New head coach Spencer Rattler was a disaster last year. Just taking sacks, just 8-9 a game. It was rough. Behind a good offensive line. Last year was a little bit rough. They had some injuries and stuff, but it's a better offensive line. And then Tyler Shutt, they used second round pick on, who's going to be 26 in September. I believe he backed up Justin Herbert at Oregon. He's been around. He's played for a lot of football teams. He played at a lot of different colleges. I saw a quote that he was just like, "There's nothing I haven't seen before. I've been booed. I've been a backup. So you throw some shit at me, you're not going to faze me. If we start 0-2 and I suck, it's going to be fine." He's kind of experienced it all already. He's a grown ass man. He's an adult. So if you draft him in the second round, and again, there was some good camp buzz, and he can't beat out Spencer Rattler in camp to take the job right away. And you're going to be like, hey, we need to see a little bit more. All of a sudden, you start to get into what does year 2 of that look like? You wasted a valuable asset knowing you're going to just draft a quarterback again next year. But Saints are interesting. They need to reset the clock or just get off some of these contracts that have been terrible. Then they spent money randomly. It's some weird positions in the offseason. So I don't know what to do with the Saints, but I know that you're interested in fading them as much as possible, I believe.
I mean, I think they're pretty clearly the worst team in the league on my, by how I evaluate talent or evaluate teams. And the markets don't disagree. I mean, to be clear, they are underdogs in all but one game, 1.5 point favorites against the Jets at home. They are actually underdogs in 3 points or less in only 3 other games all season. So they're underdogs of more than 3 points in, what are we looking at, 13 or 14 games this year, basically, total. That's a pretty tough hill to overcome, on a week-to-week basis. Their offensive line is fine at best. Their receiving core is okay. I mean, probably maybe the best part of their team with Olave and Shaheed. Both players have kind of struggled to stay healthy at times. They signed Juwan Johnson, who's like the definition of a Jag, to like a longer, contract. He'll be out there. Kamara's like, I mean, like
He'll be out there.
He'll be out there. Kamara's like, I mean, kind of like end of his career, almost seemingly, or end of like his like prime, I guess I would say at this point. Doesn't want to touch the ball that much. He told Nick Underhill, I think, reported that like he had like 225 carries last year in like 14 games, and he wants like 175 and 17 basically. So like he doesn't really want the ball that much. But like, because I think he just knows like it's like kind of a lost cause at this point. And then like, yeah, they're having a quarterback battle between Tyler Shugg and Spencer Rattler. I mean, that's tough. There's some memes that I can point to that are probably not appropriate for this, but this is just, I mean, these two bozos are literally, I mean, it's the worst quarterback room in the league. And the defense has a ton of questions too. Like it's really bad. Like, I don't know how this is going to work. I mean, maybe you can convince yourself that Kellen Moore can make it happen, but like, can he? Like, I mean, he's been like, I don't know if he's a meta talent maximizer. He's done different stuff. He's had good offenses from time to time, but he's also had like good offenses with good players, not like bad offenses. Like this offense would need a lot of juice, in my opinion.
Yeah, Dallas. I mean, those are good Dallas teams that look different than they do now. Chargers, same kind of. You had young Justin Herbert, but those teams were, you still had Keenan Allen in his prime, and Mike Williams is a different player. Yeah. Yes, then Philadelphia. That's kind of a layup, right? So, I think he's good. I think the offensive line can actually be good. But is that enough when you're like real playmaker who wants the ball 10 times a game? That's a little tricky. Not a lot of dog. And I get it. Like if you're late stage Alvin Kamara, do I want to put 130 or 230 touches on my body for a 4-win football team when I maybe want to get another contract? I mean, it's the unfortunate piece, but it's reality. I understand it a little bit. So not great though. Wouldn't want that to be my guy, but I'm with you. The defensive side is a lot of questions. Brandon Staley in as the DC, really young. Cornerback room, Alontae Taylor's the best guy in the slot. He's got a hammy injury already. Missed a ton of time last year. So it's just, again, kind of Carl Granderson's okay as an edge rusher, but, not a huge difference maker. Chase Young actually, I think, can be better than what he, got home last year in terms of sack production. Kind of a dusty linebacker room. That's not really exciting. Yeah, it's just not a really good football team. They're going to have trouble stopping teams, and Kellen Moore is going to have to play keep away offensively. But I don't know, what does that look like? Is that like I don't know. It's a lot of Chris Olave not getting a concussion, and Shaheed staying healthy too. Like that's a tricky proposition. So I think both those receivers can be good when they play from a per game basis, but I'm worried about their ability to do that long term.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it comes down to quarterback. Like, it's the most important position in all of sports. Like, you need a really, really good team to win without having a quarterback. I mean, you see very few teams do it successfully. Maybe the 49ers. I mean, that's just about it. Like, no one else is very good without a quarterback, to be honest. So, yeah, it's really tough. I played under 5.5. That was like -130. We've seen -190. I think 4.5 is, I mean, not my favorite play, but it's plus money. It's not a bad look either. Like,
right.
Winning 5 games for this team would be a lot. I mean, that would mean that it would just mean that their offense is playing way better than we think, or their defense is like average and their offense is like average as well. Like, I mean, like, or even like 20th or 23rd in the league instead of like almost dead last, which is, I think, kind of where it's headed right now, to be honest. I think that, I mean, they're favored against the Jets. I'm a big Jets hater, and I think the Jets are probably a better football team than this Saints team.
Yeah, I think so too.
I mean, they're both stuck, but like, it's like, I think the Jets are a team that are just going to run 75 times and like actually dominate the Saints, I think, in that aspect. And so that's like a problem.
Yeah. The tricky part is the schedule's so easy, but I mean, they're still just so bad, right? Like there's when you're going down any schedule review for another team and you're like, oh, Saints, like you're not expecting the Saints to take that game from any of those teams, right? You're like, oh, okay, that's a win. Even for some of the bad teams. Oh, Miami plays the Saints in week 13. Like, okay, there's one of Miami's wins, right? Like there's there's no spot for them for anyone else. You're like, oh well, at least they get these guys. It's like, well, I mean, I don't know. That's a little tricky.
Like Giants, Saints is like, would they play week 5? Giants are 1.5 point favorites. And the Giants are way better than the Saints.
Agreed.
Like they got wagons up front. You know, Russ is playing fine. Maybe we see Dart there. Who knows? Like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm not making an early season bet, but I think the Giants could beat the brakes off the Saints pretty easily, to be honest.
Yeah. It's a tough start to the season, right? And mostly home games too, which is tough. But like, I don't know. It's not great. It's a bad football team. I like the plus 375 on Caesars to be the worst team in the league. Take that first pick. Maybe you can talk Arch into, coming out in the draft or, I don't know. And then isn't the LSU kids, his dad's the OC here, right? So, or he's, So Doug Nussmeier's son is the LSU quarterback, who's also, Garrett, who's one of the favorites to be the first pick. So it could be interesting, just start over. So, favorite bet for the division?
For this division, I'm going to go with the Falcons. I think I picked them in so I did my like parlay thing as well, and we'll talk about all the division winners. But I think the Falcons are the biggest threat to unseed the Bucs here at the top. Schedule is pretty easy down the stretch. I don't think they're going to win like 12 games or anything, but maybe like 9-10 wins and end up winning the division. The Bucs win like 8, something like that.
Yeah, I agree. Even like if they win 10 and Tampa wins 9, Tampa's okay. I think the Falcons can win this division. So I'm with you. Plus 240. You maybe look for alt win totals, 10 plus. Some of the books have, teams to win 10 plus games or something like that. That would probably be the way. Because if you're betting on the Falcons, you're betting on, like, again, Penix continuing to ascend or kind of match the late season play that he did against terrible opponents, but just staying healthy and then having the defense emerge. I still think the Pierce bet works as well. The case to be made there is if you don't have someone like, Abdul Carter for the Giants, like, again, that's a team that we like that could be interesting. Their schedule is the complete opposite. It is absolutely brutal schedule. So if Pierce and Abdul Carter have similar numbers, and then the Giants are winning 5 games, Pierce is finally this revelation. They finally have someone to get, double-digit sacks. They get a ton of pressures. They win the division. They win 10 games. These awards have a narrative element to it that we need to account for too. So that's kind of why I like the Pierce bet, and it kind of works in conjunction with the Falcons to win the division. So how about NFC playoffs? Give me your division winners, your wild card, and then walk me through title game and then who wins the NFC.
So we had the Falcons. That's one of mine. Niners, NFC, Eagles, pretty much all chalk there. And then I'm gonna go with the Packers over the Lions. Okay. Packers division winner there. And then in the AFC, I'm gonna go mostly chalk again and one surprise. So Bills, Ravens, Chiefs, and then I'm gonna go with Jags winning that division there.
Okay. I almost did the same thing. I did go with Houston. It was back and forth, was really tight. Like Jags division, Jags.
Right.
Wild card I thought was viable. Wasn't sure. So same Buffalo, Baltimore, Houston, Kansas City win the divisions. I matched you on the NFC division winners.
Really?
I think the North is so tricky with those 4 football teams. I don't know. I guess the Bears would surprise me a little bit. Not because I don't expect the Bears to be solid, but just because I think the other 3 teams could be awesome. I don't know. It's tricky. What about your
real quick? I know that the Bears were playing against like Bills backups, but like that it was just so refreshing to see guys like open and like Caleb just like throwing to open guys,
Yeah. Without a doubt. I would be not surprised at all if they're like very, very, very competitive. So how about the wild card teams?
Yeah, I mean, I think I still have the Lions making it. Rams, I think, still to be in contention. And then the Commanders as well. I was struggling with them or the Cowboys. At the end of the day, I'm just a little worried about this Cowboys defense. And then AFC, 2 teams I'm going to go from the AFC West. I'm going to go Broncos, Chargers, and then I'm going to go with the Aaron Rodgers Steelers.
Nice.
Making it happen there. So I think pretty similar to last year, honestly, overall in terms of playoff teams. But I think both the Broncos and Chargers, I think, are just both really good football teams. So like it was tough for me to leave them out. And then the Steelers, the last AFC team, I think, is kind of up for grabs, to be honest.
Yeah, last AFC team is hard. I think last for both. You can make the case for sure. I'm with you on Denver. I'm also with you on Pittsburgh. I went with Pittsburgh as well. I put in the Bengals, which is really hard to do because the defense could be abysmal. That very much could be just like Kansas City Houston or Jacksonville, whoever you don't have winning that division very much could take that seat. Would not surprise me at all. Pats maybe, but I didn't do it.
I thought about it. Honestly, I did. I did think about it. But
I'm with you. I mean, we both liked Pittsburgh when we went through that process and like looked at that team. And Rodgers, again, like it's not shocking to say anyone clean pocket is good. But like like we said then, like he just doesn't have the secondary movements and secondary actions. But like clean pocket, step, create some avenues to throw. I think they'd be okay. The offensive line's good. I think they're going to be feisty defensively. So Pittsburgh makes a lot of sense. NFC side, a little different. I also matched you with the Lions. Minnesota is a playoff team for me. Almost gave Minnesota the division. To be honest, I think they could be really good. Again, there's a lot of faith in JJ McCarthy. We'll see. I also went with Arizona instead of the Rams. Arizona is the last in on the wild cards on the NFC side. So, so I don't have Jacksonville in the playoffs. You don't have Houston because you did not give Houston one of your.
Yep.
So I don't have the Chargers. Where we differ is I have Houston, Cincinnati. You have Jacksonville and the Chargers. And then on the NFC side, we differ just on the wildcard teams. I have Arizona. You have the Rams. And then I have Minnesota. And then you had who was your last one?
The Commies.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Commies are almost to me in a way like the Bengals. Like the defense could be so bad. Although I think it's better than the Bengals defense, to be honest. But we'll see. I don't know. I'm holding out hope it's just a preseason game and it wasn't so bad. But also, Commies' offense is pretty good, even though it looked pretty bad. All right, NFC title game. Who's it going to be?
I'm going Eagles and Packers.
Okay. I'm with you on the Packers.
And are you? I'm gonna have the Packers winning. I'm gonna have the Packers beating the Eagles.
I also have the Packers winning.
Are you serious?
NFC. Yep. We did not talk about this. We didn't share.
What?
Yep.
That's crazy. I was like, I'm doing something a little different here. Like, and so we talked about it in the NFC, NFC West episode. Like, I think the Niners are going to win like 14 games and then just like get boat raced in a playoff game, like and lose by like 30 or something like that.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, there's that defense is so young. They need a lot of guys to step up, but Green Bay, again, I think is the youngest team in the league. Like it just doesn't take much. You just they're really good last year. I think they're going to be really good. And you get just a little bit of just natural growth for a handful of guys. So they've drafted very well. Like it's not a stretch. It's not a hard path for them to just kind of emerge and be a little bit more consistent and really good on both sides of the ball, just like a lot of guys on both sides. So yeah, I'm with you. Green Bay. I actually have Green Bay beating the Vikings in the NFC Championship game.
Okay.
So that's where I'm spicy. Not having Philly, not having San Francisco. Minnesota's an awesome football team. It's a huge question at the most important position in football. You cannot argue it. The rest of the team is fantastic. Just believe in the coaches being talent maximizers, getting the most out of JJ McCarthy and him having a pretty special year, pretty unique year. So Green Bay, Minnesota in the NFC Championship game. Sorry, Eagles fans. I just have questions about your secondary right now. You got a bunch of guys that could maybe rush the passer, but like, I don't know. You're leaning on some young guys there too. So there's more questions with Philly than last year for sure. So Green Bay, Minnesota. How about your AFC Championship game?
Ravens, Bills.
All right.
Is
Suck
that
it, Kansas City?
What do you have?
Ravens, Chiefs.
Okay. Do you have the Ravens winning or no?
Yeah.
I do. So we both have Ravens, Packers, and the fucking.
Yeah.
Do you have Ravens winning too?
Yes.
I do too. Oh my gosh! All right, well, we're betting it right now. What's exact odds of like Ravens?
Yeah, get shop this out.
Should be pretty good. Let's see here. I know like DraftKings has some stuff like Caesars. I'm sure. I just want to like line shop it because I think we could probably find a probably ridiculous price on that. We nailed it last year too, didn't we? Or
you did
nail it? I did, right? I had Chiefs, Eagles. I think.
Yeah. I had Chiefs, Chiefs, Lions.
Okay, which. I mean, I guess they lost the Commanders, but
Yeah, felt good about it heading in the playoffs, but yeah.
Yeah, they looked really good. I mean, that's hilarious. Do we know if who even has a futures odds table you can see? Does Unabated have that? Where you can see the exact odds matchup or exact matchups for
Yeah,
that?
to price it out, I don't think so. I don't even know if they're let's see. Playoff specials, Super Bowl. All right, well, FanDuel has exact matchups. Ravens Packers 40 on FanDuel.
It's 40-1.
Yep.
I thought it was gonna be way higher than that. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I did too. Same thing. I'm looking at Ravens Vikings. It's 45-1. We're like,
are we just chalk donkeys now? What's going on, dude? That's crazy.
These prices I just don't think are very good.
It's FanDuel. I mean, they pulling a fast one. That's 40-1. That's the Packers alone to win the Super Bowl 25, aren't they? That's outrageous.
Packers. They have Packers at 19. So, but I mean, what should we be? Let's open up the calculator. I mean, 7-1 and a 19-1. We probably should be getting more than 40, right? If we
one would think.
Well, I guess that would be to win the Super Bowl. So I guess to win the conferences would be different prices. So I guess that doesn't make sense. Yeah, that should be better. Conference. Baltimore to win the conference and Green Bay to win the conference, 950. So yeah, that you could. So don't take the preset one. It's better if you just do a 2-game same parlay.
Parlay.
40. It's only 45 and change, so it's not significantly better, but it's better than what their preset odds are.
Interesting. You can bet on Caesars Ravens winner runner-up Green Bay 70-1.
That's better. Yeah.
I mean, I think
you're picking the winner, but you're getting 35 points on just picking the Ravens,
Right. I don't think there's anything else in here, but yeah, it's interesting. Well, I thought I was going to get I don't even know, 75-1, maybe on just that exact match. I mean, these are exact matchups. That's crazy. And it's not like the Packers are massive chalk. I mean, I guess the Ravens are. They're a really, really good team. So
Ravens are so good. Yeah.
I think they're the best team in the league, on paper, heading into the season. That's my.
I almost don't. Again, a little hyperbole. I think it's almost not close. To be honest, when you look at roster top down, I've some questions about. I mean, Josh Allen's so good, but I don't know. Some of their playmakers and the questions of the receiver group and stuff. And I don't think the defense is quite as solid as the Ravens defense is. And I legit. I don't know. Again, I'm grinding this stuff pretty hard on the defensive side. Philly is messing around with what are they going to do with Cooper DeJean because he can play anywhere for them. They literally might need him at perimeter corner because things are going so poorly there. And he's probably fine there, but they need Keely Ringo. They have questions at safety opposite of Reed Blankenship. I don't know what they're going to do there. Some injuries. They need some guys to emerge. So I don't know. There's legit concerns in the secondary there. So, and they're kind of on some younger guys to contribute up front compared to what they've done in the past.
Yeah. Interesting.
We're aligned. We didn't plan. We didn't talk. No discussions.
That's crazy. Yeah, we didn't plan at all. Both had Ravens, Packers, Ravens winning. Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I'm going to bet it just because we talked about it. And 45-1 and 70-1. I mean, need a little skin in the game.
Yeah. Got to have the ticket. Nothing worse than that. So join us. Little Ravens, Packers, Super Bowl parlay. I'll probably do both just to, get a little 45 and then get a little 70 on Caesars. So,
yeah, I just bet the 70 right now, and then maybe I'll bet the other. I wonder what is Packers to beat the Ravens? That could work too, right? That's
that's true.
I don't know what the math is on that, but it's fun.
Yeah, let's see. Packers. Let's see if we can do that same parlay that you did. See what that prices out. Oh, yeah, you can do that actually. So it's 76, almost 77 on FanDuel.
Okay.
Well, and then inverse, we go Packers.
Packers to beat the Ravens is also 70-1 on Caesars. I don't understand how these odds work.
Make sense. Oh, so
even
FanDuel, it's 91-40. Packers to beat the Ravens in the Super Bowl.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's better odds there.
Yeah. Just cover yourself a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, then you got tickets on both, and you just enjoy the game, and then that way you're winning a couple.
Yeah, you catch
couple
the
grand on
ticket
each
for them
side.
both getting there. So you
Yeah.
have, your conference championship sweat is over. Now you have both sides covered. You just bet on Taylor Swift for a song and call it a day.
Yeah. Bet on whatever GRP is betting on.
It's gonna get some good ROI. That's all I know.
That's
So
hilarious.
awesome. All right. Appreciate everyone hanging out with us. Again, check out SharpStack. We're very excited about it. I think you will be too. If you haven't just kicked around, again, it is no longer free if you just click on it, but all you need to do is start your 7-day trial, free 7-day trial over on the site right now. Go to 4for4.com. You'll see it at the very top, SharpStack. You just have to have an account and you're off and running. Again, cannot wait to see that thing popping for the NFL season. Props, sides, totals, ARB tool. Really, really excited. The pick'em side too. Like, again, I think there's a huge edge on the pick'em side. If you don't have access to domestics and you're just trying to pick off Prize Picks, Underdog, DraftKings Pick 6, still a tool that you should be using and should be part of your repertoire to kind of just build the bankroll. So really excited about that. Again, move the line wherever you listen to the podcast. 4for4 live on the YouTube channel. We appreciate it. We'll be back next week. We're going to have our friend Ed Fang on the show. We'll talk a little bit about some future final bets, season-long props, kind of any last fires before we start previewing week 1. So appreciate it, everyone. For Connor, I'm Ryan. We'll see you all next time. Thanks, everybody.